Good morning, beloveds. Oh, I just realized I didn't use the voice enhancements, and I didn't use... There we go. I also forgot to do the cross post, but it hasn't been doing the cross post anyway, so I've been manually doing it. So we are going to finish chapter 21 today. We left off after talking about psychics, and then the interesting thing is after talking about them, I was able to join the watch party, and then we ended up having a conversation about psychics. It was really interesting. I was like, go read chapter 21. So, all right. We are on 352. We should be starting with streams of consciousness. Let's see what Ernest has to say. Each being is an individual entity in mind. Each being, an individual... Oh, okay. Sometimes his lack of punctuation or, the way he structures the sentence make me wonder. And so that's why I'm struggling a bit. And also, I'm still recuperating from a week of no power. All right, let's try that again. Streams of consciousness. Each being, an individual entity in mind, is known by the name they bear and by the vibration which they emanate. For while we are all in one mind or spirit, each has a separate and individualized personality. According to the unity of mind, thought is everywhere present, and so long as it persists, it will remain present. What is known in one place may be known in all places. That's a very important line right there. It's kind of the basis of how we do mental treatments. What is known in one place may be known in all places. Time, space, and obstructions are unknown to mind and thought. It follows that anyone tuning into our thought will enter into our stream of consciousness, no matter where we are, no matter where they may be. If we still persist after the body shall have suffered physical death, and we are convinced that we shall, this law must still hold good, for past and present are one and the same in mind. Time is only the measure of an experience, and space of itself is not apart from, but is in mind. A psychic can enter the stream of thought of anyone whose vibrations they can mentally contact, be that person in flesh or out of it. And since we are all psychic, all having a soul element, we are all doubtless communicating with each other to the degree that we sympathetically vibrate towards each other. We do not all have the ability to objectify psychic impressions, and ordinarily they never come to the surface. However, they are there just the same. This is why we often feel uneasy in the presence of certain people, or when we mentally contact some condition and are aware of a disturbed inner feeling without any apparent reason. There are many normal psychics who can, while in a perfectly objective state, read people's thoughts and perform many other wonderful feats of the mind. This is normal and no harm can come from it. It is, indeed, one of nature's ways of working and is most interesting. Any psychic power which can be used while in a normal state of mind is harmless and helpful. By this, we mean one that can be used while one is in a conscious state. All right, Ernest. Spiritualist. That's the movement. Spiritualists, they did table rapping and table levitating and, talk to that. And I did come out of the psychic community into Science of Mind. And one of the things, so my teacher, who is no longer with us, she called it Dead Uncle Fred. It's basically when you took an item of somebody who was no longer in our present physical. And so we called it Dead Uncle Fred. And you would hold an item and, I happen to be really good at that one. I at one point I had to ask her to stop putting me with new people because I kept freaking new people out. So, all right. Moving on to the spirit of prophecy. We have explained how it is that the psychic vision can look into the past and see what has transpired, by reason of the fact that it is dealing with a field in which there is no past, no present, and no future, but merely a continuation of being. Because this is so, any incident which has transpired in the past is an active thing in the present, unless the vibration is neutralized, when it no longer has existence anywhere. But it is true, apparently, that the incidents of the past continually rehearse themselves in the same manner that a picture hanging on the wall for the next 10,000 years, if nothing happens to it, will look just as it does now. So anyone contacting a previous incident clairvoyantly will see it as though it were now transpiring, not past. This is the way in which clairvoyant vision operates. Okay, I am in the spirit of prophecy section. The continuation of the past through the present into the future is a movement of causation passing from cause to effect. And because the movement is first set in motion in a field of mind, which is purely subjective, both cause and effect will exist at any point during the sequence of this movement. The clairvoyant vision, then, contacting it at any point, even before the final outcome, will see the final outcome. There is nothing fatalistic about this. A thing can appear to be fatalistic without necessarily being so. This we should understand because the human mind, in its ignorance, has created great psychic laws for itself. Therefore, if one has been told anything in the way of a prophecy, which is negative, it should be directly refuted because that negation exists in the realm of subjective causation, not spiritual causation. I have no idea what he's talking about. Outside of he's saying, if somebody predicts the future for you and it's not good, then deny it. That's exactly what he just said. Deny it. Okay? His reasoning. Okay. Now I put a star here, so maybe this is important. To repeat, this is a clear way, perhaps. Subjective mind can deduce only. It has no power of initiative or self-choice, and is compelled by its very nature to retain all suggestions which it receives. The best illustration of this is in the creative soil, which the gardener plants their seed. The soil does not argue nor deny, but goes to work on the seed and begins to create a plant which will represent the type of manifestation inherent as idea in the seed. From a cucumber seed, we get cucumbers, and from cabbage seed, we get cabbages. Always, the law maintains the individuality of the seed as it creates the plant. Never does it contradict the right of the seed to be what it really is. Involved within the seed is the idea of the plant, as are also those lesser ideas which are to act as a medium between the seed and the plant. Involved within the seed are both cause and effect, but the seed must first be placed within the creative soil if we wish to see the plant. All right. I underlined this and it's in italic, so it's probably important. In the creative soil, or in the seed, the full and perfect idea of the plant must exist as a completed thing, else it could never be brought into manifestation. The idea of the full-grown plant must exist somewhere in the seed and soil, if it is ever going to materialize. This teaches us a lesson in subjectivity. Thoughts going into the subjective are like seeds. They act through the creative medium of the mind, and must have within themselves the full power to develop and to express. But how could they express unless they were already known to mind? They could not. So, mind must view the thought as already completed in the thing, and mind must also contain the avenue through which the idea is to be expressed. Every thought sets the fulfillment of its desire in motion in mind, and mind sees the thing as already done. Deep breath. We're still going. Mental tendencies set in motion cast their shadows before, and a psychic often sees the complete manifestation of an idea before it has time to materialize in the objective world. This is what constitutes the average spirit of prophecy. For prophecy is the reading of subjective tendencies and seeing them as already accomplished facts. The subjective mind can deduce only, but its power of logic and sequence appear to be perfect. For illustration, suppose that there is a window 1 mile distant. I am throwing a ball at this window, and the ball is halfway to it, going at the rate of 1 mile a minute. Now, you come into the picture and see the ball, measure the distance, compute the speed at which the ball is passing through the air, and say the ball is halfway to the window. It is traveling at the rate of 1 mile a minute, and in just a half a minute, 1/2 of a minute, the window is going to be broken by the ball passing through it. Let us suppose that you are the only one who sees the ball, for the rest are looking at the window, and in half a minute it is broken. How did you prophesy that the window would be broken? By drawing a logical conclusion from an already existing premise. A similar thing takes place when a psychic exercises the spirit of prophecy, because they are getting their own subjective contact with the condition and simply interpreting what comes to them. But this is logical, deductive, conclusive power of their subjective thought. Seeing a thing completed by first seeing a tendency set in motion and computing the time it will take to complete it. There are but a few, however, who possess any reliable spirit of prophecy. And that's how he ends that chapter. Wah! Okay. So tomorrow we will pick up with chapter 22, which is Finding the Christ. So Ernest is basically saying psychics exist. Everybody has the potential to be a psychic. But the only way to be a psychic is to be able to objectify the subjective. Okay? And that very few people can do that reliably. All right. And if you can do it reliably, what you're doing is the future already exists. Otherwise it couldn't materialize. The future already exists. Otherwise it couldn't come into manifestation. And so all a psychic is doing is reading the tendencies. It's like, okay, this is what is in motion. This is what is most likely to happen. I'm reading that. I'm not predicting the future so much as reading what already exists there, is what it seems like he's saying. Which means that psychics aren't magical and they are not supernatural. They just are better tuned in than most of the people running around. It's like he says in there, everybody has the ability to do it. Most people just don't, because they're not willing to tune in. And there is a large degree of tuning in the science of mind work, whether you want to be considered a psychic or not. So, and I will say that sometimes when the world does get very overwhelming, because it does, I'm sensitive. One of the greatest gifts the practitioner ever gave me early on was, she said, I want you to envision a radio dial, a volume dial, and you can turn the world up or down as you need. So when you're overwhelmed, you visualize the dial. And see, I'm old enough to remember the great big stereos in the glass cases. That was very helpful for me. It's like, okay, I need to turn down the world stimuli because it's overwhelming. Or, okay, I need to know what's going on. Let me turn the volume up. So tuning in, like I literally have a very physical way of doing it. So that was Ernest Holmes. That was chapter 22. Him delving into, in the original, they went back and republished it because apparently they took a lot of the spiritualist out of the Science of Mind when they published it. And then somebody went back and published and said, no, we need to put it back in there. So, it may not be in this version, but there is a version where he covers more of his spiritualist beliefs that deal with the psychic realm. So, it's just not the one I chose because, this is my original textbook. You can see how beaten up and well loved it is. It's got all my notes and stuff in it. So that's why I chose to do this one. All right. I am going to wrap this up, and remind you that, let's see, here's the basic housekeeping, that one of the ways that you can support the center is to engage with our social media. We are Creative Life Spiritual Center or Creative Life Spark on the social medias that we are on. Meaning we're Creative Life Spiritual Center on Facebook and YouTube, and then Creative Life Spark on YouTube and TikTok. I don't know how active our TikTok is. I have nothing to do with TikTok. So, that's somebody else's baby. If you want to know what's going on with the center, then you can email info@creativelife.org. That puts you on the constant contact email, of which you get one a week, unless something unusual happens, like a hurricane. Because that's where we live. We do live in hurricane territory. And the hot links in the email are hot. If it says click here now, it'll take you right to the information you want or the person that can help you get it. Or you could go to the website, which is creativelife.org. Creativelife.org. That's the website. So now I'm going to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonderful day, an awesome day, an amazing day, a first day back at work day, a finish cleaning up the mess from the hurricane day, what are we up into today? Whatever kind of day you need to have day, a get this week started on the right foot day, it's all going to be okay day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. You are enough just as you are. You are a beloved expression of the divine. You are spirit in motion. You are God in action. You are a brilliant light, a divine spark. I think I already said God in action and spirit in motion. Or as Reverend Jesse likes to call us, you are a godling. Okay. You are a beloved expression of the divine. You are a godling. All right. Explore the truth of your being. Peel back everything that anybody has ever told you about yourself, including what you have accepted about yourself, and get to know who the divine knows you to be. Because I can promise you one thing. The person that the divine knows you to be is good. And from there, all things are possible. All right, beloveds. That's it. We'll start chapter 22 tomorrow. Reverend David will be on around 5 p.m. with you. I should be back with you around 9 a.m. tomorrow. Take care of yourself. Know that you are loved. And I will see you next time.